said, watch him throw the ball. We gon' pick it off. You gon' let him hit the hole or you gon' cut it off. You gon' play through fourth and long or you gon' punt it off. Your defenders, heavy hitters, put your pads in. Don't be looking for the ref to throw no flags in. Keep the helmet on, keep the cleats tight. You the type to want to win by any means, right? You should look alive. This is Trap or Die.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to another episode of the Trap or Die podcast, provided to you by 214 Media and SB Nation's Hogs Haven. I am your host, Marley Mo, Coach Mo, all that good stuff, man. In here with no Rick today, but for a good occasion, man, celebrating some fams' birthday dinner. Shout out to Erica, all that good stuff, man. But Rye and Nick is here. Nick, Rye, how y'all fellas doing, man? Y'all straight?
Good, bro. I had a good workout today, as I'm sure you know. A little sore.
Well, you know, I heard what you said at the end of the workout.
What I
You know
said?
what I'm saying? You said, Kenny, man, I ain't doing class today, bro.
Yeah.
You quit on Kenny pretty early.
Class is out of the question today, man. Yeah. Extra work. We did enough work today, and I know the workout, bro. I couldn't do it today, bro. He was.
It was the sprints.
I think that's what put the cherry on the top.
I was doing sprints, bro.
We had sprints at the end of the jump.
5-minute sprints at that.
Yeah, I'm glad I be in the morning.
He ain't worded right. It was 5-minute sprints, but it wasn't like we were sprinting nonstop. We had one sprint, and then the next person went when we came back. Then the other person went when we came back.
How many people in y'all group, bro?
Rest,
it was three.
Come on, bro.
Me, Tyler, and Mo.
So it's like 4 sprints total per person. It's not bad.
That's not bad, bro.
It wasn't good.
Was it? Yeah, that's not bad, bro. Down the back, right?
Yeah, down the back, bro.
Okay.
Down the back. Nick, how you feeling? Everything straight, bro?
Hey, you know what's wild, bro? I've been in pain since Thursday, bro. I don't know if I worked on Thursday, but like
you didn't. Matter of fact, Ali said you were supposed to be in there with us.
I was supposed to be so I was supposed to be Thursday. Didn't feel good.
You gonna lie like that, bro?
I wasn't in it. I wasn't in Thursday, but Friday I felt bad. Saturday I felt bad from Friday. Today I felt bad from yesterday, and then like
3 games, bro.
I already know tomorrow I'm gonna feel even worse. Like,
for sure,
bro. I couldn't walk yesterday. My foot was like this big, bro. And she was like, "You going to the gym tomorrow?" I was like, "I don't know. To be honest, I'm gonna have to wing it in the morning." I woke up knowing it's a squat day. I'm like, bro, I know Ali gonna be tripping.
We didn't even squat today.
You didn't go?
No, I went this morning, but I'd be good. I just gotta like move around for like a good 15 to warm my foot up before I even stand. Nah, bro, it's
everybody over. I got like 7 injuries, all from yesterday.
For real.
Yeah, man.
But you know what's crazy, bro? Ryan talk about I remember we was playing basketball, bro. Ryan had a layup, bro, threw his back out.
I was out of shape. That's the difference. I got at least 50. Especially back then.
That was funny. But Nick set you up, bro. That was
Ian, please,
that was funny because
bro. I'm trying to tell you, Ryan did a regular layup.
Why you trying to do that?
Out my back. It was a rap, bro.
That's crazy.
We do look, man. We do got company, bro.
That's crazy, bro.
Ian Cummings, draft analyst, and scout for Pro Football Network, is live with us right now. He joins us to preview the NFL draft. And welcome back, man. I appreciate you joining us tonight, man. How you feeling, bro? Everything straight?
Yeah, I'm good. I just got back from the gym. Actually, I had to really shovel down my Chipotle quickly, man. But chest and tries today, so we got that going, man. And I don't feel sore. I know it's gonna hit me soon, but we're good for now. So yeah, we're just chilling.
You went heavy a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. I just started going to the gym full time this year, so I'm still building myself up. But I think 75s for flat bench dumbbells, just kind of rep stuff out. So I'm trying to up that bench, but we got a ways to go before I can put myself on the spreadsheet with the NFL players and like say, where are we at here? But we're working our way up. We're getting there. It's the grind, that's for sure.
I respect it. We all got our starting points. The training spot that we go to, all 3 of us, Ride's journey is probably the best one that I've seen outside of Daryl, since I've known Daryl in the gym longer than you, Ride. But seeing him come through, like everybody got that starting point. I remember
it's pretty bad, Ian.
I'm about to say, I'm glad he said. I ain't gonna say. I was
Pretty
about to bring
bad.
up an example. I'm like, it's not worth it. Nick already embarrassed him. He said he blew his back out.
I made a lot of strides. You see, he tried to embarrass me earlier.
Brian embarrassed you, bro.
Yeah,
All I
being
said
old,
was,
I ain't gonna do that to Ryan.
Hey, you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, I ain't gonna do that to
Exactly.
Ryan. So
Exactly.
I'm glad you in the gym, man, getting that smoke. Just like the fellas, man. So let's go ahead and get into some draft talk. But before we do, whatever way you're watching, whatever way you're listening, make sure you hit that follow button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, all that good stuff. All positivity for the Trap or Die podcast. We definitely appreciate it. We did get a rating, a review recently, and I meant to say it on the Commander side as well, but I'll read it here and kind of give an explanation as to what's going on. So BT47, I did see your mention on Twitter as well, but on the podcast he said, where is the NFC East mixtape? Where did it go? He said he gave us 5 stars, so we appreciate that, but also said don't make me go follow another team page to get it, which makes sense. But for those who don't know, SB Nation or Hogs Haven is independent in terms of the podcast side. It's independent to Vox Media because of the whole Vox Media news over like a month or two ago. There is like a lot of podcasts and even some blog sites were discontinued because of the finance situation and all those things. So that's all that is. So you don't get the NFC East mixtapes on the Trap or Die podcast anymore. You're only going to get that on Blogging the Boys. Actually, for the NFC East, all other 3 NFC East podcasts. So you can find them on there. But yeah, that don't mean leave Trap or Die, man.
Don't do that.
You still gonna get your skins content. You still gonna get your all 32 stuff. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the draft talk with Ian. Look, before I get into my favorite offensive position group, let's talk about quarterbacks. My favorite is wide receiver. But for quarterbacks, what does the quarterbacks rankings look like for you this year? And I guess I'll leave it with the blanket term because I have some questions about one person in particular who I hear a lot of, and I'm actually turning the corner on him too, myself, in a positive way. But overall, what does the quarterback position group look like for you this year? How are you ranking things? How are you evaluating that position group?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say the top 4 is separated from the rest of the pack. You got Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young. Those are my top 3, and those guys are all clustered together very close. I've gone back and forth on Richardson and Stroud, and I even had Young, my QB1, for a little bit there. I've been the most indecisive person when it comes to those 3 because they all bring very good qualities to the table. I think I'm settling on Stroud as my QB1. I think Richardson provides the highest ceiling for sure. I think Young provides the highest floor. You talk about the creative instincts that he has, the it factor under pressure in chaotic situations. But I think Stroud has the best mix of upside and safety as a prospect. So I think I would give him the nod there. I think, especially in that Georgia game to close out his career, I think one of the biggest questions for Stroud was his ability to create, off script, and I do think he has the necessary athleticism for it. I think it's more a matter of comfort for him. He's not super comfortable in that phase right now, the way that Young is and the way that Richardson is, but he does have the mobility to do it. He has the off-platform throwing ability. We saw him generate velocity off-platform, and he's got good arm talent. It's not explosive arm talent like Will Levis or Richardson. He doesn't quite have a cannon, but he can generate pace very easily, and he can layer throws into tight windows. I love Stroud's eye manipulation, anticipation over the middle of the field. I think he has a lot to offer, so I'm a big fan of all those guys. A-Rich I do think is a higher floor than it's insinuated. I think that athleticism that he has can help him out early on. And then he's got a cannon, his upside is through the roof. And then Bryce Young, the size is an outlier, but I think he has the traits to, be the exception to the rule because he's very, very intelligent, very instinctive, and especially over the middle of the field, he can process well. Off script, the creation ability is just uncanny for him. And he's not an explosive athlete like Kyler Murray, but he can create, he can keep things in control, very smooth the way he does it, very effortless. So those 3 are at the top of my board. Will Levis is 4th in my quarterback rankings. He's a little bit farther down, but he's still in the first round conversation. I like the arm talent with him. I like the toughness, the poise. I like the athleticism as well. And then Hendon Hooker, even farther down. There's a gap between him and the first 4, but he's my 5th quarterback. So that's how I got it. And then you got guys like Clayton Tune, Jake Haener, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, but those guys are all kind of in the day 3 range. So that's what you're looking at for QB.
So One of my, I had a couple now that I think about it, but one of my guys that I was going to bring up was CJ Stroud. And while I haven't watched many quarterbacks in this class in full detail, including Stroud, I have an idea, like this theory, just based on the games that I've watched, that this isn't even the prototypical mold of an OSU quarterback. Like you get a lot of guys that come into OSU and like they're built off. I mean, of course they have a solid arm, but and maybe even Dwayne Haskins was an exception as well in that theory, even though he only played one season. But like a lot of these guys are more athletic than anything else. Obviously they have good arms, but like their athleticism like stands out. And CJ isn't unathletic, but like his arm is the thing that makes him move. And like, is this a quarterback where you look at him and you say he could, or he has the highest potential to prototypical, like break the prototypical mold of an OSU quarterback coming out? Because these are guys who, when they come in the league, for whatever reason it is, just all of a sudden, just no more excitement, no more elite level college play transferring to the NFL level. Like they have their struggles for whatever that may be. What do you think about CJ? I mean, obviously you broke it down, but in the sense of like being able to be a consistent, maybe even I'll give him a top 12 quarterback. I'm not going to say top 5, top 3, but top 12 quarterback in the NFL, Pro Bowl level potential. Like, is that what you see in CJ Stroud?
I do think he can get to that point, and I do want to preface with this. I think, you have to be, and I know you're not doing this, you got to be wary of scouting the helmet, with any position, any school, Ohio State QBs, it's been a big thing. There's been Alabama QB talk as well in recent cycles, right? So, every school that's had a bust a QB, someone's going to bring it up and say, oh, well, this guy didn't work out, right? So it's one of those things, every prospect, even if they come from the same school, the same supporting, system, right? Every prospect is different, way different. There's so many different nuances and variables. And Justin Fields is one guy too. I mean, the situation that they enter in the NFL is different, right? And that plays a big role too. Like Justin Fields coming in, the Chicago Bears, it was not a great situation for him with Matt Nagy. And then once Nagy got fired and they brought on Eberflus, and, the roster was still going through a big transition period to start the year, didn't have a lot of supporting talent, right? But he started to rely on his athleticism, and we saw him start to trend up. So every prospect is different. Every career trajectory is different. With that being said, you mentioned, I do think it's a good point that a lot of Ohio State QBs don't produce right away in the NFL. I don't think that's a common thread for Ohio State QBs. I don't think it's a common thread to make, but I do think Stroud can start to break that. I do think he has the traits to do it. And, I think it's really interesting because you mentioned he does have the athleticism. I think the curious thing with him is that he doesn't rely on that athleticism. Yeah. Like there's a long touchdown from 2021. I think it was over 50 yards, right? Where he got in open space and he actually had speed, So it's one of those things where when he needs to use it, he can, but he doesn't rely on it because he's a very good sound decision maker. He's a quick processor. He's accurate. I think he has all the tools to be a very good pocket operator. But on top of that too, once he gets more comfortable working in chaotic situations, I really like the upside that he has to kind of add that dynamic to his game. So to your point, I think he can start to succeed early on. I think especially, like any quarterback and like Justin Fields, like any Ohio State quarterback before him, it does depend on situation, right? Like I'll be a little more excited for him if he goes to the Panthers rather than, what if he fell to 3 and the Raiders traded up for him? Then I'd be a little more apprehensive, right? But I think the Panthers have a really good supporting cast for him, a really good supporting system. I love how he would translate in that Shanahan-based Texans offense. The Colts and Shane Steichen would be a great fit for him too. So, I'm fairly bullish on most of the landing spots for him. And I think that, but especially CJ Stroud himself has the tools to make it work.
All right. So last one for quarterback for me. Actually, let's kind of merge this in together. So it's a two-parter in a sense for my boy Ryan. What will it take? Like, what type of system will it take for Richardson to be successful on the next level, like immediately? What do you think that may be? But secondly, does an offense like the Tennessee Titans, if he makes it to number 11, does that make sense there for the Titans, knowing their quarterback situation right now? They just drafted Malik Willis last year, albeit a 3rd round pick, so that really holds little merit. You can move on from a 3rd round pick, but obviously Ryan Tannehill as well. In his contractual situation, it leaves a little window of like, can we move on from him? I don't know. But what do you think about Anthony Richardson, the best fit on the next level? And then does it make sense for Tennessee to grab him at 11 if he's there?
Yeah, I think for Richardson, you got to start with the, obviously the athleticism is what people gravitate to, but I do want to give him more credit because I think he, like I said earlier, I think he has a higher floor than people let on sometimes. Yep. I think the mechanics, sometimes he's out of sync mechanically. Sometimes the accuracy can be a bit, up and down because of that. And I think, I think it's more trajectory, dispersion for him as opposed to mechanics. He actually has pretty good upper body mechanics. It's more, a synergy thing, sometimes the lower and upper body are out of sync. But, I do think he's trending up mechanically. And more importantly, with a quarterback, you look for the mental building blocks, the mental positive signs, on the field, anticipation over the middle of the field, using your eyes to hold defenders and keep windows open, right? Pocket navigation. He is superb at navigating the pocket. And I think that's something that goes overlooked in his game. Not only does he have the mobility to do it, but he's very instinctive at, feeling the rush and sidestepping rushers and creating space with micro movements, and, keeping his eyes up and scanning the field as he does so. Quarterbacks, it's very difficult to multitask and do that. And you see Sam Howell, I hate to rag on the Commanders guy. I do think he has upside, but one of the bigger knocks on him coming out was that if he felt pressure, he would drop his eyes and run, right? Will Levis, kind of a similar thing where sometimes when he feels pressure, he'll freeze up, right? How you encounter pressure, how you deal with it is such a big thing because you're going to encounter it. You need to be able to navigate and keep your eyes up and, stay composed through the entirety of the play. And Richardson has shown that he can do that, right? And then on top of that, he's got the running ability. To your question, what scheme would he fit best? I looked at the Colts and Shane Steichen as a really good blueprint. You saw how Steichen utilized Jalen Hurts early in his career, really building around his ability as a runner. And I think that's a great way to not only maximize Richardson's skill set, but also open up opportunities in the passing game too, flush the defense into the short third and then start to open up opportunities where he can use his strong arm and get that verticality in there. I think building around his elite running ability is a great way to put the defense in this endless tug of war, right? I just love the idea of that. I think that Shane Steichen in particular is a coach who has experience with that kind of talent, knows how to utilize that. Could the Titans take him at number 11? I don't think he makes it to number 11. I don't think he makes it out of the top 5. I think if you're the Titans, you need to trade up to number 3 to get him because if he's there number 4, he is tailor-made for that Colts offense. So I could see the Colts trading up one spot to 3 just to make sure they get him if they really, really like him. It's going to be interesting to see what happens because there's so many different potential outcomes. But I think the Titans would have to trade up to do it as opposed to, whether they should. I don't know, man. I mean, I wasn't super high on Malik Willis last cycle. There's a similar conversation to be had about the athletic tools, right? But I think Anthony Richardson shows a lot more potential with his processing, right? I think Malik Willis got into chaotic situations and was very uncontrolled. The field vision was not close to, being as consistent. And Richardson sometimes has lapses there, but I think there's a lot more promise with Richardson as opposed to Willis. And Willis was older coming out. He does have potential, but I think, it's going to take a little bit more for him. I see an easier path to growth for Richardson. And so that's why, I would be willing to do it, right? I think it's going to take a lot of capital, and that's the tough part, right? Because there's a lot of teams that are trying to gun for that 3rd spot, and you're not going to be able to get him sitting at 11. So it'll be interesting to see. But if I'm the Titans, you got a roster that's starting to get ready to compete, right? You've added pieces in free agency. I think you do have to be aggressive if you really, really like a guy, and if you do have a plan for him. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So, Ian, I'm glad you're here, man. I will say, I know your expertise is in college players coming out to the draft. And like you already mentioned, we're sitting at 11. Given the fact, like you said, if we actually wanted to grab one of these quarterbacks, we would have to go up to 3, which our name has been, in the rumors of potentially making that move. But, just bear with me for a second because, I'm not sure if you're very familiar with our roster, but I feel like, you did mention that some of the free agents we picked up, but our wide receiving core is very mediocre.
Bro. Just say it. Y'all suck.
To say the least.
That's all you had to say, bro. Y'all not good.
Just relax.
I was more thinking about the defense. I think Arden Key, Danico Autry, the secondary, right? Yeah, but the offense is definitely, Treylon Burks it's basically it, and he's still got to develop. So yeah, I think you're right. It's not quite there, right? I guess I was thinking get a guy in a runway. Yeah.
So my list is a look as far as how you have the top 4 ranked. We're slightly on the same page, except like 1 or 2 spots. But just given our history, and you've been talking about the high potential of Richardson, which he does have a high ceiling. But our draft history, we took Jake Locker at 8, who also had a lot of potential, didn't pan out. Took Mariota at 2, had a lot of potential, didn't pan out. Malik Willis was high on a lot of people's draft boards. I don't think a lot of people thought he would drop to the 3rd round, but as you mentioned, had very poor mechanics, and in the few starts that he had, still a project, still potential. But I'm just of the mindset that if we are gonna keep Ryan Tannehill at the contract that he is, which I don't think is worth the money, but I would much rather take a player like I don't know if Mar had a question about the next position group, wide receivers, but I just kind of wanted to hear
your quarterback for a minute. Go ahead.
Kind of wanted to hear your insight, because who I think is our best fit for our team, the way it's built right now, we need to start a wide receiver. And I like Jackson and Jigba Smith a lot. I don't know if I said his last name backwards, but
Smith and Jigba.
Okay, yeah. I'm high on him. I just kind of wanted to hear what you thought about him and his potential.
Yeah, for sure. He's one of my top 2 receivers. It's him and Quentin Johnston, that top 2 for me. I'm a big fan of him, and I'm a big fan of the fit. I actually just mocked him to the Titans in my latest 7-rounder.
We're on the same page,
so exactly, we're on the same page, man. Yeah, circling back to the quarterback conversation real quick, because I do think ultimately, if I had to get off the fence and make a decision for the Titans, I would probably stick with what you got for 1 year. Maybe look at the 2024 crop, because maybe that's ultimately what's the better option for you. But I do think especially with that receiving core, because Treylon Burks has wide receiver 1 upside. This is the key upside for him. He was always going to take some development, right? I feel like getting a target funnel type like Jackson Smith and Jigba, you can insert him into the slot on day 1, and he can just be a immediate separator, elite separator for you, kind of that safety blanket for whoever your QB is. I feel like every wide receiver core needs that, right? Because that takes pressure off your wide receiver 1 type, allows them to isolate one-on-one matchups, right? And Smith and Jigba, I wasn't as high on him to start the process because I didn't see elite long speed. I didn't see elite explosiveness. But the more you watch him, he does have an elite trait to build around athletically, and that's his agility, his short area agility. I mean, he separates, he can cut on a dime, change of direction is very smooth. And then on top of that, he knows how to use it as a route runner, spatial manipulation, really pressing into stems, manipulating defensive backs at the catch point, phenomenal catching instincts and body control, really strong hands, some of the acrobatic catches that he made. Yeah. It's insane to think about, but he has really good body control. On top of that, 2 phases of receiving play, separating before the catch and converting at the catch. He's very good there. And then he's a pretty slippery after the catch threat too. So I think he's a very complete receiver. I think he's a guy who can come in right away and be a safety blanket, target funnel, whatever term you want to use. And especially for the Titans, who really need that reliability more than most, I could definitely see that being a good fit.
For sure.
So let's ask, I want to get your opinion. So let's do 2 prospects, receivers, day 1, day 2, and day 3. 2 each day. Who do you like? Who are some of your guys? Obviously, Jackson is going to be 1 for day 1, but who's your other one? If you had to name one as your top 2 for day 1, who will be your top 2 for day 2, and who do you think will be your top 2 for day 3? Just obviously from projection based in terms of where they should or where they may end up, but what are some of those guys for receiver size?
It's a tough question, man. There's so many guys that I want to name.
Yeah,
I think this receiver class.
You can go. Look, I'll give you the floor. You can do more than 2. Look, the floor is yours. Take how much time you need, but it is. I tried to narrow it down a bit, and with 1,000 receivers coming out every year, that probably just didn't help you.
Yeah, I know. It's one of the highest volume positions every year, man. It kind of sucks because you got to comb through so many guys, but there is a lot of talent to unearth and a lot of gems to be found. I gotta bring up Quentin Johnston real quick because he is in that top 2 for me. I know the discourse has been pretty polarizing on him, and I do concede he has room to refine his game. I do think he's underrated as a route runner. I think he's shown flashes of, being able to press up into stems, really good stopping ability. I mean, on some of his comeback routes, he'll take 2 or 3 steps and he's decelerated from full speed, and he's sinking his hips very well. The hip sink and flexibility for his size is unreal, and that's one reason I'm willing to bank on that is he has high level route running building blocks. You can develop that, and on top of that, his hand technique can improve at the catch point, but he's got the wingspan. So I think, teach him to use it. He's a very good run after catch threat. I'm a big fan of his upside. So he's in that tier for me. But a couple other guys in the round 1, round 2 range. Josh Downs, Zay Flowers, big fan of both those guys. Okay. I comp Zay Flowers to Santana Moss. I think he's got a very energetic play style with his athleticism. Again, change direction.
He's got great foot speed. Looking for a guy.
I hope not, man. Hey, they got Brandon Cooks, so hopefully that kind of steers them away. We'll see. But I'm a big fan of him. The separation style, the run after catch, and he's got great body control. Josh Downs kind of reminds me of Doug Baldwin a little bit. I think he'd be that slot warrior. He's a great separator. Very good spatial awareness, along with the lateral twitch and the explosiveness. Cedric Tillman, Tennessee. We'll go to round 2, day 2 now. He's one of my favorite receivers. He's actually a top 3 receiver for me in the class behind Smith-Njigba and Johnston. So I'm a big fan of him. He's an elite producer in 2021, but he's around 6'3", 215. I comp him to Michael Pittman Jr., one of those guys who's pretty streamlined as an athlete, for his size, but he's got great foot speed, great hip sync. He's got really underrated route nuance for his size. Usually with a 6'3" guy, you're talking about an alpha at the contested catch point, which he can convert in 50-50 situations better than most, but he's a great separator too. I'm a big fan of that element of his game. I'm combing through the names in my head now. Jaden Reed from Michigan State is another day 2 guy that I really like. He's a little undersized, around 5'11", 180s, I want to say. But he's another guy who's got great deep speed and he can threaten defenses vertically, but he's also a great route runner. And at the catch point, again, he's very good at putting himself in position. His feel for positioning is one of the best in the class, in my opinion. And his ability to make acrobatic catches at the catch point, for his size, is uncanny. You don't see guys like at that size make those kinds of adjustments, but he can do it very well. A.T. Perry from Wake Forest, another day 2 guy, around 6'3", 200, but another guy who, at the Shrine Bowl, he put on a clinic with his separation ability. I mean, this is a guy who has very good lateral twitch, foot speed for his size. I don't think he's an elite, athlete in terms of his explosiveness out of breaks. He tested very well. I want to see him channel it more often, but he's another guy who has that lateral agility for his size. And again, he's very good at using physicality through stems, right? It's not just route running isn't just, using your athleticism and agility. It's also using physicality, arm swipes, whatever it may be, to fight through contact at the stem and break free. And he's very good at doing that in targeted bouts. You don't want to be pushing and shoving guys constantly because you'll get called for flags, but he's very good at knowing when to use his arms, when to break free. And then he's another guy who's very, very good at converting at the catch point. Day 3, I think Demario Douglas from Liberty is one guy that'll bring up. He's undersized. He's around 5'8", 170s. So, he's a guy who's going to be in a niche role at the next level, maybe a slot guy, but another guy who ran in the 4.4 range, explosive athlete, and a very good separator. But I think one of the things that stands out for him is that for his size, a very natural catcher of the football. Sometimes with guys who are 5'8", 5'9", you worry how they're going to convert in contested situations. You worry how natural they are extending beyond their frame. And he's very natural. I mean, he ran the gauntlet drill at the combine, didn't drop a pass, was catching it in stride without losing speed. And at the Shrine Bowl too, he showed that, man. He can run routes, he can separate. And then when the ball comes his way, he's very, very natural at extending beyond his frame. And, once he's in open space, that speed, very, very tough to deal with. So those are a few. I want to get one more day 3 guy. Hang on. I got a list here. I'm going to try and scroll through it.
SMU.
Rasheed Rice. Yeah. That's one. I'm a big fan of him. Yeah. I think,
okay. Yeah. I'm looking at him too.
Yeah. I don't grade receivers this way, but I kind of try and look at them through the 3-level threat framework. That's kind of what I call it. What can you do before the catch? What can you do at the catch point, and what can you do after the catch? And I think Rasheed Rice is one of the more exciting receivers within that framework. His route running is a little raw right now. He's shown flashes, but an important caveat with him is that he played a lot of the 2022 season with a foot injury. So I think that affected his efficiency at times. But at the catch point, man, he's another guy. I think he drew a lot of pass interference penalties, man. I mean, he's one of those guys who he's got the length. I think he's got over 32-inch arms. so he can outreach defensive backs. But then his body control, again, his vertical athleticism, his flexibility to contort, and put himself in position is very, very strong. He's very natural at, one thing that you don't want to see receivers do is body catch, right? I do think he has some focus drops sometimes, but you won't see body catches from him. He will extend beyond his frame. He'll get his hands on it, and he can convert. And then after the catch too, he's got the frame density. I think he's around 6'1", over 200 pounds. So he's got great frame density, good contact balance, can churn through arm tackles. I love that part of his game. And I think, once he gets fully healthy, we'll start to see that explosiveness translate on the field, because he tested with, I think, a 41-inch vertical, over 11-inch broad, so 11-foot broad. So he's got the explosiveness. He's got the twitch. I'm a big fan of his upside at the next level.
Sure.
Nick, y'all need offensive line, right? Y'all still need offensive line?
No, we're pretty good on offensive line. We need to replace our fullback one we just let go, and Ezekiel Elliott. So I do have one question. Outside of Bijan Robinson, what's two-part of? Do you think any running backs will go in the first round? And then if not, who are some guys to look at it like probably day two besides my guy Chase Brown?
Chase Brown's a good one, man. I gotta, yeah, he's a guy who I gotta bring him up. I gotta talk about him now that you mention him, because he's a fun player. I think he's more of a linear guy, north to south, but I mean, he's a guy who's no nonsense. He gets upfield quick, very explosive, very dense. He's got good contact balance. I like him a lot. In that late day 2, early day 3 range, he can be a great value pick for you. But to your first question, any running backs in round 1 aside from Bijan? It's tough. I think Jahmyr Gibbs has the best chance. I usually would err on the side of less running backs in round 1 just because of positional value, right? That whole spiel. But, I do think Jahmyr Gibbs, what he did at Alabama, really helped him out a lot. I think, not just the running ability, but distinguishing himself as a potentially elite receiving threat too. The modern NFL, what you can do, if you can do more as a running back, if you can be versatile, that helps you a lot. And Jahmyr Gibbs showed he could split out wide. He can line up in the slot. He can separate as a route runner, and he can make plays at the catch point like a wide receiver can. So I think that's going to help him out a lot, because you look at his natural running ability too. He's got vision. He's got creative instincts. He's got insane burst out of his cuts. He gears up better than anyone in this class, in my opinion. So I could see him going round 1. If the board falls that way, that's kind of another factor, is how the board falls, but there's a chance for sure, and I think moving to day 2, some other running backs that I do like, my running back 3, Tank Bigsby from Auburn. I like him a lot. Around 5'11", 215 pounds. He ran in the 4.4s at his pro day, so probably a 4.5, right? But still good enough speed. With running backs, you're not too worried about the long speed. What you're more worried about is the explosiveness through gaps, and I think he's got that for sure. But one thing that really enamors me with Tank Bigsby's game is, how flexible he is in and out of his cuts. This is a guy who can go from lateral to vertical very quickly. And that helps when you're manipulating at the second level, moving from second to third. He's a guy who can really change directions very effortlessly for his size. And then he's got great contact balance, physicality. And that Auburn offensive line did not help him out a lot. I think getting behind an NFL offensive line will be a big assist for him. And then one more guy that I really like, Kendre Miller from TCU. He's got, he can be a little more efficient sometimes, so dance around a bit too much behind the line. But another guy with great change of direction, great lateral twitch, and his contact balance is fun too. He's a guy who's constantly churning his legs, breaking through contact, breaking through tackles and extending runs. And that's a big part of his game. And he's a very natural receiver too. He didn't always showcase it in that TCU offense, but he can extend beyond his frame. He can make tough adjustments and then be a rack threat. So big fan of him. Tyjae Spears from Tulane, another one who's big on my board. I think I have him at 5th overall in that running back group. But just another explosive guy, who's very dynamic out of his cuts, very dynamic heading downfield, and the short area twitch, again, big thing with him. This is a common thread. I like guys who can change direction quickly. I like guys who can explode downhill. Having the vision to help with that too and work downhill efficiently is good, and Spears definitely has that, but he's also a phenomenal receiver. I think this running back class is one of the better ones we've seen. It's got a lot of depth too, but a lot of day 2 talent, guys that could be very valuable parts of rotation early on.
Yeah, I only got a couple more questions for you, boss man. But to like Nick's point with the running back question, tight end is something similar. Like I was actually the last show, I was speaking about running back and tight end position group. Both of those like being molded together. Like you don't really see either positions being valued in those first 2 rounds, like over the last, if I had to blindly say it, probably like the last decade, I would say like you don't really see running backs and tight ends being drafted in those first 2 rounds. Yet like there's several who they're obviously even the first round. I'll just say this: the first round is kind of mixy, but you're guaranteed some type of talent, like some top talent, and it's obviously like unquestionable, like probably the better in the group, and then after that is some quote like perceived drop off, whatever. Point being, when you look at tight end this year, you mentioned your running backs, but when you look at tight end, there's a crop out there that's interesting, to the point where you can see a couple guys go out in the first round. But my question is to you, Ian, do we see multiple tight ends come out this year in the first round? But secondly, what do you think about the group overall? Who are your favorites? Who are you thinking somebody that can be an immediate impact? And I guess I'll leave it there for now. But what are you thinking about this tight end group?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there's 2 guys in the first round conversation: Dalton Kincaid from Utah and Michael Mayer from Notre Dame. Maybe Darnell Washington breaks in. I know the size and the athletic testing very appealing for sure. It'll be an outside chance for me. I'm not sure if he does. I think the route running, his athleticism doesn't quite translate in that phase for me. I think that's something that'll kind of steer guys clear.
That's my thing. Like first round, are you spending the first round on what he provides, and what he provides is really good, but it's like what he doesn't provide is like I need a Dalton Kincaid or something in the first round, like his athletic ability, his route running ability. If I'm gonna go tight end first round, I can't take no inline blocker. No disrespect to them because they're valuable, but at the same time, 16 for us, 16, no, can't do it.
Exactly. Yeah. One thing I like to say, the idea of Darnell Washington right now is more appealing than Darnell Washington himself. I mean, he's got good athleticism for his size, for sure. He's a great, he's an elite blocker. You cannot take that away from him. I mean, he's so fun to watch as a blocker, but as a route runner, the athleticism to me doesn't quite translate yet. He's pretty lumbering in space. He's not sharp on his cuts. He can't sink very well. And then he doesn't sustain burst out of his transitions very well. And then, even one of the other areas where he's going to present appeal is a red zone threat, with his size and length. He's a clap catcher. He's not supernatural at attacking the ball and guiding it in. Sometimes he'll clap it, and that can be a source of drops, right? So I think there's a lot of room for refinement for him before he can be who we want him to be. But, I think on day 2 is where the value is for him. But going back to Kincaid and Mayer, those are the 2 guys that are separated from me. I'm a huge fan of Kincaid. I mean, you talk about, Washington not being supernatural attacking the football. Kincaid might be the best in the entire class, wide receivers or tight ends at attacking the football. I mean, he's so natural at extending beyond his frame. His sense of timing is impeccable. The contortion ability, the coordination, he is so good at converting at the catch point. But then his athleticism too. I mean, he's explosive up the seam. He's very flexible as a route runner. I think Mayer is a little more nuanced when it comes to route running. Mayer is actually pretty underrated there. He's not quite as explosive or flexible as Kincaid is, but I think his functional athleticism and foot speed is good, and then heading into stems, he's very good at pressing into stems, using the entirety of the space he has and using his physicality to break through tight coverage. I think that's a big part of it. But I think both of those guys provide a lot of appeal in the early rounds, and those are the 2 that are kind of separated from me. Going down the board, man, other guys that are, we talked about it with the running back class, and it's very similar to the tight end group. There's a lot of depth for, wherever you want one. I think a lot of different player types too. Just off the top of my head, man, Tucker Kraft from South Dakota State is one that I like a lot. I think he's one of those guys who can be a seam threat with his athleticism, but he's one of the better run after catch guys in the class too, because he's got very good leg churn through contact, very good contact balance, really dense frame. And, especially for a team like the Dolphins, that's a fit that I like for him. Sam Laporta from Iowa. I don't think he's quite as dynamic as he tested, but I think he's another really well-rounded guy, who can come in and be a high floor tight end right out of the gate. Another nuanced route runner with good run after catch ability. Luke Musgrave, I think he's another one where the idea of him is better than him right now, but he's an explosive guy. He's explosive, very flexible too. He can use curvilinear acceleration to really explode through seams and kind of, attack angles in the deep third. And I love that part of his game. And then I'm going through the names in my head. Luke Schoonmaker from Michigan is another one I'm a big fan of. He's a smooth athlete, tested very well. And I think that Michigan offense didn't always showcase his ability as a receiver. You know, he's a phenomenal blocker, very assignment sound, knows what he's doing, very good angle awareness, very good physicality. But then as a route runner too, there's some really good flashes where he's sustaining his burst through cuts, you know, using his hands to convert the catch points. So you can go down the list, but this tight end group, man, I'm a big fan of the depth there. Brenton Strange from Penn State, another one who can, you know, convert the catch point, run after catch. You know, I think, you know, at whatever round you need one, there's going to be an option there. Zach Kuntz from Old Dominion, you know, a little raw from an athletic standpoint, but all the athletic tools are there for him. Another seam buster, right? You know, whatever type you need, there's a lot of different player types for you. And I think that's going to be a fun element of this class, you know, seeing where guys land. And, you know, if there's any UDFAs, there could be gems in that range too. You know, I think it's a deep class with a lot of different player types and a lot of valuable variety for teams.
I'm glad you mentioned Brendan, because I was a little, I'm about to tap into him this week. So I ain't gonna lie to you. I was a little biased. I saw his stats before I looked at him. I was like, I don't know if I should pick him when I'm a little time limited. but you gave me a little boost, so I'm gonna go ahead and check him out for sure. But listen, before we get out of here, I appreciate your time as always. And your last thing for me, because we didn't talk about the defense side of football, so I want to make sure you tap in on that side. Give us your 4 prospects, your 4 favorite prospects. So they don't even have to be 1, 2, 3 on your board, but your 4 favorite prospects on the defense side of the football. Who are those people that are your favorite as you've watched them over the past X amount of months?
This is a tough one, man. I'm about to pull up my big board here. You know, I'm not going to go with the 4. I'm not going to go with the 4 best. You know, I think that's a little, you know, that's a little cliche, right? We'll go with just 4 guys that I'm higher on. I'm trying to get through it.
Okay.
I'll start with Derek Hall, edge rusher from Auburn. He's a guy that kind of this isn't a player comp, but, you know, similar archetype. He reminds me a little bit of Arnold Ebiketie from Penn State last cycle, who was in the second round of the Falcons. He's around 6'3", 255. But I think he's got over 34-inch arms, and that combination of natural leverage and proportional length is very valuable on the edge. You know, that's a guy who has a really good power profile, very explosive off the line, but he's shown that he can stack rip moves off of bull rushes, right? He's shown he can kind of stack counters there too. So I'm a big fan of his upside within that role. Carrington Valentine from Kentucky is one guy that I'm pretty partial to. Around 6 foot. He's a true junior. He declared early. And he doesn't get a lot of buzz. I think this corner class is so deep that, you know, he'll fall under the radar. But 6 foot, 193 pounds, over 32-inch arms, very explosive athlete. He tested with a 39-inch vertical, I think a 10.8 broad, ran in the 4.4s. And he's a guy who on tape, one of the most physical players in this draft on tape, Carrington Valentine from Kentucky. I mean, he gets right in your grill. He will compete to the final whistle against the run, against the pass. That aggressiveness can hurt him at times, especially as a pass defender. Sometimes he'll bite on routes when he shouldn't, you know, and kind of give up big plays. So he's a gambler, you know, and he's kind of young, inexperienced in that element. You know, you're going to need to coach that out of him, but he's willing to make plays, man. And he's actually very twitchy, very fleet-footed athlete. I think if you can continue to work up his technique, he can be a high-level starter for you because he's got that athleticism, he's got the playmaking ability, and he is a massive chip on his shoulder. So I'm a big fan of his upside at the next level. Sticking with the corner group, Corey Trice from Purdue is one that I'm a big fan of. 6'3", 206. I think he measured in with around 32-inch arms, I want to say. But he ran in the 4.4s. He tested extremely well. And I think the big thing with him, you know, he's explosive. He's got good long speed, but Corey Trice at 6'3" had a 6.73 cone. That is insane. You know, for his size, with 6'3" guys, you know, especially cornerbacks, the biggest issue for you is, you know, can you sink your hips? Can you transition? Right. You know, and Tariq Woolen is one guy who came out, you know, he could do it. It was consistency that was the issue for him. But, you know, I look at Corey Trice and I see another guy who can really transition, can flip his hips with ease, get upfield, carry guys. And, you know, I think he's got that upside for sure. I want to pick a 4th guy, man. It's tough. Texas defensive tackle Moro Ajomo. That's my 4th. He was at the Shrine Bowl and he put on a dominant showing at the Shrine Bowl. He's around 6'2", 6'3", 293 pounds, over 34-inch arms. So again, natural leverage, proportional length, and that power profile is insane, man. He's still got to refine his game as a pass rusher, but He's a phenomenal run defender. He can acquire leverage and hold the line. And his power as a pass rusher, I mean, if you isolate one-on-one opportunities for him, he's going to barrel through that guard, man. He's got insane displacement capacity. So big fan of him. I think he tested with a around 5 40-yard dash, 33-inch vertical, very good explosiveness for his size. So, upside is a big thing for me. You're drafting them for what they can be, not what they are right now. And those 4 guys are 4 that stand out to me as, very upside-driven prospects.
That sounds the last guy that you mentioned from Texas. Is he like is he spacing out to like 3 techs, and like is he versatile on that defensive line? Like
he is. Yeah,
okay,
he can play. He played 3 tech, he played 5 tech. He rotated between those spots usually, but he can play both. I think you use him based on situational matchups, right? I think he translates best to the 3 tech or 4-eye at the next level. Okay. And maybe slide him into 2-eye, but he's got versatility for sure.
Okay. Ian, man, look, I shot for 20 and didn't realize how much time we had you on. So I appreciate you, your patience. I appreciate you chopping it up with us, man. I want to give you the floor now. As always, man, plug talk. Let the people know what you got going on, where they can find you, read from you, hear from you, all that good stuff.
Yes, sir. So got the new handle. It's down below me right there at IC_draft. You can follow all my content there. Just released a full 7-round mock. So that'll be my last one for the cycle. So if you want to see who your team picked, go ahead and check that out. But I think Tennessee got both JSN and Moro Ajomo. So I was partial to the Titans class there. But check that out for sure.
I'm gonna check you out for sure.
Yes, sir. And then we're updating scouting reports going all the way up to the NFL draft. We'll have new top 10 positional groupings out, but until then, man, it's just regrading, reevaluating, and just kind of hanging on for the ride, because no matter how much preparation you do, you never expect what's going to happen. So that'll be the fun part. And then it's on to 2024 after that. But in the meantime, we got 2023 coming up. So keep an eye out for all the draft content over at PFN. We are gearing up, man. It's the best time of year, but we're living for it. So,
look, this y'all Christmas, man.
Yes,
y'all live for these moments. You do a good job, though, bro. I've been, you know how long I've been locked in, so it is what it is. But Ian, man, you take care. Enjoy the rest of your week, boss, man. I'm gonna try and lock in with you after the draft, so we can try to break down. We got the players in front of us. We got the Skins players, the Commanders players. We got the Titans and some of the Cowboys guys.
Yeah, we don't take a wide receiver. By the time you come back, I won't be happy, bro. I'm just telling you right now. I won't be happy.
All right. Well, hopefully, you aren't happy when the time comes, right? So we can laugh at you. No, for sure.
Who do you have going to Dallas though? Just curiosity.
Come on, man. You had all right.
Just
what you got?
In the mock draft, are you asking?
Yeah.
Dude, the mock draft, the board played really well for Dallas. They ended up getting Broderick Jones at 26. So getting that offensive tackle.
He said he don't want no offensive line. He gonna call that.
He said check the mock draft, bro. He ain't have to read it down for you, bro. Log on.
Dude, hey, that's
appreciate you, Ian.
I'll give you previews. I'll give you previews for sure, man. But
that's all he get. That's all he get. He get Broderick Jones. That's all you give him, bro. Everything else he need to read.
I'll tantalize you a little bit. I really like your 2nd-round pick too. So now you got to go check that.
Now you got to go look.
Exactly.
I'm gonna go check it. Tell you that right.
There you go.
I need to go
send me the matter of fact. Send me the DM me your article so I can take a look at the mock draft.
Yes, sir. We'll do.
All right, boss man. Hey, take care. Enjoy your week. Big
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate it, bro.
I'll see you guys.
All right. Here we go. Ian, do I get this? Oh, bet. There we go. All right. Ian Cummings, Pro Football Network, does a good job, man. In-depth detail, analysis, breaking down. Like I told you, bro, his encyclopedia.
I don't know how you remember all that, bro. Like he knows
notes.
He
had it. He said it.
Bro. Cuz was going,
bro. Keep your notes.
He had them.
Keep your notes, man. That's all you got to do, bro. That's all you got to do. But fellas, as we continue on with the show, we got our blind 5 up next.
Yeah.
Should we see on social media?
Come on.
We're gonna close out with OBJ. So, with that being said, fellas, there's only one thing left to do.
Yeah. I left my shades in the car, bro.
Thing left.
Crazy,
boy, you stupid.
That's crazy. Why both of y'all gotta get up? Look at y'all.
Who had to get up?
Your boys ain't even on camera no more.
Who had to get up?
Bro, both of y'all. Come on, bro. Y'all still ugly. Come on.
What'd you say, Rob? You said you don't got your shades? What you said?
Come on, bro. Let's go.
That's what you said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. Okay. I left my shades in the car. That's good. What else you leave in the car?
He ain't leave that drink.
Go ahead, Sam. Go ahead. Ball, cut you out of this live, boy.
I ain't gonna say it, bro. Out of respect for the show, bro.
We good, bro.
We good. I'm good.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I'm good. I'm copacetic. You know what I mean?
We good, bro. All right, I'm gonna give y'all an option, bro. We're gonna talk about college players because we talking about draft time. Not necessarily college players that's coming out right now, but in the past we're gonna go from like 05 and up.
College.
But it's two different options though. We can go quarterbacks, or we can go offensive athletes. I can put it that way.
Stick to quarterbacks.
Quarterback, bro.
I understand. You be all over the place, bro. Have you?
And then I'd be mad. I didn't mess my pickup, bro.
All right, just because y'all said that, bro. Say no.
Rick automatically a loser since he ain't here, so we're gonna put L across the board for him.
Yeah, and this is off of just what they did in college, bro. You don't gotta think about what they done in the league, bro. First, we got Cam Newton.
So time about this is 05 until where?
Till
basically we got 17 years, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. 2.
Cam Newton. I'm gonna go. Who's calling me? Oh, Joe. Damn. Got called it back. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do a soft. I'm gonna do 4.
Cam Newton in college?
17 years, bro. I'm gonna go 4.
2.
Tebow's in that joint.
Pay attention, bro. Just relax, bro. Just
Joe Burrow.
Joe breaking your own rules.
There's no such thing as no. We're discussing the pit. All right,
no, I'm not discussing nothing.
When I'm go, bro. I'm talking, bro. Stop talking, bro.
I'm not even talking to
you. What'd you say, Ryan?
This in the list? Come on, bro.
You trying to mute me? I'm not even playing with you. Go ahead, Nick. Next one.
No, I'm asking for your what number did you have for Cam? That's what I'm asking.
2.
All right, bet 2. I'm about to mute you, bro. What you got? PTSD or something?
I ain't got.
I only mute Nick.
Hey, come on, Nick, because you
hey, come on, bro. Deshaun Watson.
Going 3.
4.
Okay.
That's tough. Tim Tebow.
3.
2.
Lamar Jackson.
5.
Yeah, 5.
My man won a Heisman, bro.
5.
Natty. There's other people on this list who won the Heisman and won a Natty. So what we talking about?
Clearly, Nick about to do something stupid. Go ahead, bro.
Right, you think you would like this pick, bro?
I'm not. If it's not what I think it is, I'm not gonna like it. Go ahead.
Mariota, bro. I already know it.
Hell no.
Oh.
Vince Young.
Oh, I'm cool with that.
I'll tell you, baby. But you should have said Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had the best college season ever.
Yeah, I know.
My list was like that.
What's your list, man?
VY 1. I had Cam at 2, Tebow at 3.
Cam won a Heisman, right?
Cam won a Heisman and
Natty
and championship. I had
Tebow got 2 Heismans though.
Deshaun at 4. Only thing I would probably switch is put Lamar at 4. Cause he was crazy.
You said you would put Lamar at 4
and put Watson at 5. I would.
Everybody on the list had a Heisman.
I'm cool with.
Deshaun Watson ain't had no Heisman.
Except for DY, he had 2 natties though.
He had 2 natties. That's for sure.
And he beat Bama.
Them Bama. Now I think he had 1. I'm about to say I think he had 1. He lost to Bama once.
Trevor Lawrence got the other one.
He got 2 natties, bro. He got 2 natty appearances.
He got 2 natty appearances, sure.
For sure.
But yeah, Vince Young was probably the most electric. He was probably the most electric quarterback before Cam was even around. Like, I think he's still one of the most electric quarterbacks.
Hey, just know I was watching the Rose Bowl in church.
Okay.
Don't even know why I was
cheering. Let me tell you how, but I was cheering for USC as hard as I could, bro. And every time, bro, Vince Young made a play, bro, I was so mad, bro. I'm like, they can't stop him, bro.
That was probably like as a young adult or as a young child, that was probably the best game I ever saw, bro. I was like, it's no way cuz this great. In the ugly burnt orange, that ugly white with burnt orange, I was like, bro, cuz out here cooking. And I thought Reggie Bush was gonna be that. I was like, he gonna cook these boys, bro. He been cooking all year.
Speaking of that, Vince Young, even though he made a couple promos with us, by like he got one of those. What's my boy there from Baltimore?
Snoop Jones.
He got one of them joints. He had one of them. You know what I mean, one of them joints he wasn't supposed to be in, but it's on his record. You know what I'm saying? But I did like Vince, but Vince was another potential high ceiling quarterback that just did not. I mean, truth of the matter is, I think B.Y. still could have had a better career with us.
Then y'all
if it wasn't for Jeff Fisher, I don't think Jeff Fisher at some point.
Jeff never really liked him, bro.
That's what I'm saying. At some point in his career, I think
he only used them to prevent himself from getting fired.
Right, for sure.
Bro, let's do this other one real quick, bro. It's a short list, obviously. It's only 5. But I just want to see y'all opinion. I want to see what y'all do on this one, bro. Real quick.
What are you talking about?
This other list I put together.
Hurry up, bro.
All right, let's go. First one on the list, DJ.
What are we doing?
He doing the athlete joint.
Offense.
Since 05, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to do, bro. You don't have any tough.
That's the whole purpose of it, bro.
D-Jack, I'm gonna say 4, maybe 5.
Deshaun Jackson. Okay.
Yeah.
You said 4, Ryan?
I'm gonna go 5.
All right, in college, I'll do 5.
Let's take crazy, bro. Tavon Austin.
Tavon is better than DJ in college. Tavon was ridiculous at college, bro. Definitely,
yeah, I'm gonna do 3.
I want to do 2, but I'm gonna be 3.
D'Anthony Thomas.
4.
Damn, I could have put him at 5, 4.
Sure. For sure, could have put him at 5.
Percy Harvin.
2. He was crazy.
I'm gonna do 1.
There it is.
Percy at 1, bro. Who we got next, bro? Who am I
Reginald Bush.
Number 1. Thank you.
First of all, he said since 05, bro.
Reggie Bush last season.
Reggie Bush was a rookie in 06. That's 1 year. I don't. All right, fine. I ain't tripping. I would gladly put Bush at 2. And
Reggie Bush is the best.
Reggie Bush had like 3 years where he was cooking shit. I don't give a damn about no 1 year, bro.
You know what's crazy about Reggie Bush though? First of all, the Pac-12 is
not to negate what he did, Ryan. To be clear,
technical. No.
He said since 05, which means we're not counting anything before 05.
That's wild. We're talking about players who were still in college in 05. We're not talking about the year he had in 05 specifically.
That's fair.
Reggie at 1. Best one on the list. For sure. And you know it.
Good list, Ryan. Great list.
Come on now. Never W. Tell them all ball for 2 today.
Boy, you ain't even win the last one. What you talking about?
Yes, I did, bro. My list was better than yours.
Bro, like, why not talking, bro? It's crazy. You probably should have muted him. He's probably about to say something on the chain, bro.
I did. I'm glad I was muted.
Once his voice got a little loud, I was like, he about to go off. All right, bro. Come on. What you seeing on the internet, man?
So, did y'all see Broncos reporter Ben Albright going crazy on Friday, bro, or Saturday? I think one of them days.
Who?
Y'all even know who Ben Albright is?
No. Who's that?
He's a Broncos reporter, man. Covers the Broncos for I forgot who.
That's what Broncos reporters do.
But let me go ahead and share the screen because this is the only way you'll probably be able to keep up with everything that happened with that man, that boy. So for people who are on the audio side, you may be familiar with what happened with Ben Albright, but in case you didn't, Ben had something going on in his head where he felt that it was necessary to share to the world how he was such an asshole, how he was so bad as a relationship guy, and not only tell people how bad he messed up, he told people what he did to make things messed up. But not only that, after he did that, he also put it out there hoping that inadvertently hoping, in quotation marks, that his ex who broke up with him saw the tweets that he made. So somehow she can be engaged in the conversation. So with all that being said, this is what we see. He goes on a 4-tweet thread talking about how he's been a bad partner. He cheated on his partner emotionally. Nobody asked him to do it, but he's royally messed up. So he continues to do it after he.
Hold on, dog. This is a NFL insider. Is this what you're saying? This is somebody.
Benjamin Albright.
Okay.
It's the guy we bring.
So this has nothing to do with football. He's just okay. Continue.
This is the shit that we see on social media, my brother.
Gotcha.
So he goes through this whole long diatribe about he's had a really good girl, really great person, and all these other things, like she was his biggest cheerleader, etc. All that other stuff. She was there. She was supportive. Like she was all these things, and I was this asshole to her. And essentially outing her and telling the world what he did to her, further embarrassing her, right? And then just saying that he doesn't deserve sympathy, but he wants everybody to know what he did.
What did he actually do?
Okay, so he said, I began to lose confidence in myself after some knockdown, drag out fights and arguments and all these other things. And there were other physical issues in their relationship. Now that is a little ambiguous or unknown what that means, but that's an interesting thought. But he said as a result of him losing confidence in himself and there being other physical issues, he reached out to his ex and he started sexting his ex. He didn't talk about his partner, or he didn't talk to his partner. He didn't talk to his issues to his partner. He just said, let's skip that part and let me talk to my ex and let's sex my ex. And he put all of this on Twitter in that thread about what he did exactly to his girlfriend or his ex-girlfriend now to make her break up with him. And as we continue the threads, he goes on to say that, he is that piece of shit. It happened 4 or 5 times over a 6-month period.
That he was sexting the girl. And then his last tweet that he says is, she may see this, she may not. This isn't my love letter or Hail Mary. It is accountability for being a crummy person and warning everyone else to not be stupid. Find your person, don't lie to them, don't cheat on them, open up while you can. And that is the end of his thread. It went on longer, and I'll save you all. So this is the girl right here. This is his girl. And this is her Twitter page or his ex. And this is kind of, now she said much more than this. This is just a screenshot. But she responded to saying, when your ex posts your trauma on social media, how much more of a piece of shit can you be? So that is everything that happened on the world of social media. And it was kind of a crazy thing to kind of see transpire, because I'm like, bruh, like, ain't nobody asking you to put this online, player. Ain't nobody asking you to embarrass this girl any further, right? To the point where you want everybody to know what you did to her. Because imagine her friends and family follow you on Twitter as well. And so you felt the need to say these things. Current girlfriend who posted that tweet, or the ex who posted the tweet?
He don't got no current girlfriend. Both of them their exes, right?
Correct.
Yeah, this is extremely pointless. Like the fact that he
I can 100% guarantee Cuz is drunk.
So he said he said he was sober.
Some kind of drug or something.
Which is even worse.
Drunk.
He said he was sober, 100%.
I don't believe him.
I don't believe
him. But here's the worst thing. There was, when you wake up in the morning when this happened, right? And you wake up in the morning, the other thing is there are several deleted tweets from Benjamin Allwright, right? The girl that broke up with him found the tweets that he was talking about, and they had dialogue. And in the dialogue, he was back to manipulating her again, saying that this is all your in a grand scheme of things, right? I don't have the tweets anymore. Basically, this is all your fault. You know what you did to cause this, but we're not going to out this on social media. Nigga, you just put everything on social media. Exactly. But if you all saw this in real time, you'd be like, bro, I've never seen nothing like this, bro. And he over here gaslighting Shorty, right? Everything that's going on is a byproduct of her actions, right?
Bro,
you're the victim. I don't want to take that away from you, but you put this on social media, bro.
Hey, bro.
All these things, bro.
Let me very
that's
pointless.
What we see on social media, bro.
Extremely pointless, bro. I mean, it's just another concept of the cliche of just don't press him, bro. Like, I don't know who advised him on this. I'm pretty sure nobody, but the fact that you decided to
I'm about to take a look at this page now and see what he got up there. Go ahead.
It's boredom strikes again. Like there's no way he needed to sit up there and send several tweets about. Really, I mean, I could care less. Truth of the matter is, like, I mean, all you did was embarrass yourself and your family. And
I think something going on in Denver, bro, because all of them just stupid, bro. I don't understand, like, what's going on? Like,
yeah, bro, it's the
something in the water.
That climate, bro. It's the mountains, Slim.
Everybody just you right. Everybody
mountains.
They hitting that jump, bro.
Ain't enough oxygen up that jump, bro. People losing their minds, bro. They need some more ventilation or something, bro. It ain't working.
That's hilarious. But yeah, man, that's what we got, bro. A person wilding out on social media, bro, embarrassing himself, but not only that, trying to manipulate the person that he claimed that he loved, and he lost a good one, and everything backfires on him. Deservedly so, bro. Don't be that idiot. If there's anything that you get from what he put on Twitter, and he said that he's trying to save you from the mistakes that he made. The mistake that he made was trying to manipulate everybody on social media, and that shit not working out for him. So let that be the lesson. Okay. Don't try to play yourself. Just keep that shit to yourself. Simple as that. Fellas, Odell, signed with the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
What does this mean to you all, man? What are y'all thoughts on Odell signing with Baltimore?
I mean, I think the obvious indication that it may give in most people's minds is the fact that why would Odell sign if Lamar wasn't coming back? So before the signing of Odell, I was really of the mindset that Lamar, there was no way he was going back. I really thought, at some point he would be with another team, but clearly with the FaceTime screenshot that they, Lamar put up on his Instagram.
In the club, turned up in the section.
Yeah, like why would you post that if that wasn't something that if that doesn't.
Who the hell is this in this screenshot that you sent to the chat? Who is this?
That would be Trey Lance. Yeah. Yeah. He about to be the Canadian.
He ain't no starting quarterback, bro.
He about to be in the XFL.
He got.
He about to be playing for one of them.
Hey, bro. All right, go ahead, bro. Continue.
But yeah, bro. I mean, that just gives early indications that they might be able to work this out with Lamar. That's simply how I looked at it.
I'm in the same boat. I don't think so. There's multiple avenues, right? Like people think like he signed a 1 year, $15 million deal.
Now that's another thing. I
thought contract got like outrageous, bro.
Worth up to 18 mil, right? But here's my thing, though, right? First off, like there's several factors that I don't think people take into account. Like, sure, in theory, you want to get paid handsomely, right? You want to get paid that money that you think that you earned, and Like the thought for Odell is that he hasn't been around in some time, but he's only missed one season. But the last time he stepped on the field, like a lot of people forget that when he got traded to Los Angeles, he turned up, and then he turned up even more when he got to the playoffs. Like 21 catches in 4 games, averaging over 13 yards of reception. I think he had like 2 or 3 touchdowns in the playoffs up until the point where he got hurt in the Super Bowl. But all that being said, when you get your tryout and you put on a show for NFL scouts, like people are thinking that he took the Ravens because they offered him the biggest bag. He was in negotiations with other teams. Nobody knows what he would have got with the New York Jets. He could have signed with the Jets and got the same offer, but the only difference could have been the money that you got guaranteed or the money that you got in incentives. He could have had a 1-year, $18 million deal with a 1-year. I'm throwing out numbers. 1-year, $13 million deal with the Jets worth $18 million. Like it could have been the same thing, just different structures in a sense. And all I'm saying is when you look at Odell's situation, sure, the money can play a factor, and I don't deny that. And it may have nothing to do with Lamar. But my thing is, I highly doubt that he's signing in Baltimore for a rookie quarterback or for Snoop Huntley, bro. It is impossible. Like no money in the world would convince me if I'm 31 years old. I know that like my time is coming in the sense of like, I don't know how much more time I have out here. I want to work with a contender. If I don't have any type of, all I need, if I'm going to get this type of money, all I need is somebody who's going to tell me, somebody meaning Lamar Jackson, somebody who's going to tell me, hey, bro, I really want to be here. I'm trying my best to make this work. That's all I can tell you right now. And if I know this person and I respect that person and I trust him because I know who he is, okay, bet. Let me go ahead and sign here. And if things don't work out, things don't work out. But as long as you giving your effort and you want things to work and you're going to try your best to be in Baltimore next year, hey, let's rock out. Like, that's all I need. So
I can guarantee you 3,000%. That was the best offer. Not even say the best offer. That was the most money he got offered.
I think so too, bro.
I think it's possible, but I don't think it would have been far off. Like, I still think that people would have been around that number. It may not have been the same number, but it
has that much bread left to give Odell.
I mean, look.
I don't know, but here's one thing I want y'all to, just kind of.
That's to say, like, New York ain't broke.
What do y'all think about the fact that Odell signed a 1-year deal with the Ravens and Lamar? Let's say he comes back and plays in that tender. Like, how y'all know they haven't had any conversations? Like, look, bro, just play this 1 year. Let me show what I can do.
And them out.
And then you can slide after this year. I'm gonna slide after this year. Like, what? Like, really? I mean, Lamar still getting paid as what? 32 mil, something like that. Mil. He gonna play, and he already like fed up with the organization. I mean, that ain't gonna change because Odell signed a 1-year contract. I mean, that might give him, some push to play for this year. If Lamar, Odell and McCool like that, he may just come and play that 1 year and slide.
I mean, they probably said, hey, look, Odell, you come here, another prove it deal. Because Graham might offer 2 ACLs. So you come back, play off of, show people what you can do for a full year and go get another contract after this. But I don't know what he think he's gonna get. He's gonna be like 30, 31, 32.
But if he go out there and show that he's still the same.
Are you talking about next year, Nick?
Yeah.
32.
Yeah, so like who about to give a 32-year-old?
They're gonna give him money, bro. But it depends on what type of money he's looking for at that age. Like if he shows like
Tariq money, he about to get a
little.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
I don't think he expects that.
He can get a chill contract, but I don't think he should go out here thinking he should get, because I think he's trying to ask like $20 million a year in Dallas. I'm like, bro, look, listen, we ain't got that. We still gotta pay CD. So
first off, you think he really wanted to join y'all? That's the problem in itself.
I mean, he ain't show up for nothing, bro. That's what I'm saying. I mean, if he wanted Beckham condos, bro, we'd have had him, but you know what I'm saying? It's cool, bro.
So did this throw you off for a loop though? At the end of the day, with Odell, did y'all was the Baltimore Ravens on y'all radar?
No. Nobody even said he was going to talk to the Ravens. He just showed up one day and was like, "I'm just mess with y'all." And then Kudos to Baltimore for not letting him walk out the door because I think he's supposed to go see the Jets like the following day.
Mm-hmm.
But I still don't see that. I don't think the Jets were going to give him that much money either because they still got to. If they do, I don't think the A-Rod deal went through yet. But if they do pay A-Rod, ain't no way they can pay A-Rod, Alazard. I mean, whatever they just paid him, and plus
they're going to cut some on.
Yeah, I think Corey Davis is the name that they were talking about letting go, which is cool. But like, I don't know, but it's weird. I'm just ready for the draft. I'm curious to see who they draft now. I mean, I hope they go another receiver for real. Load up what you can. That defense still straight. I don't know, bro.
Well, what about QB though? Like that's another thing that I think about. Like that QB spot for him.
Who you gonna get? What's the Ravens draft spot?
Because you can always go QB next year, but it's like
so it ain't that low.
Yeah, it ain't that low. It's nobody they can get.
Let me see where they pick. Hold on, my bad.
That's even worth.
I thought I saw.
Hold on. Now they could get Hendon Hooker later though.
See, he coming to Tennessee in the second, so it ain't gonna work out for them. Yeah.
Yeah, no. He coming to Dallas in the
third.
Pick
22. My bad. I don't know why I thought they had a higher pick. I thought they had multiple. Okay, so I'm tripping.
Nah.
Okay.
So yeah, they don't really have no options. It's either Lamar or trade with somebody. Ain't nobody on the street good enough to be a contending quarterback, no matter who on the roster. Nobody.
I don't know. It is interesting though at 22 because you can go. Well, I don't think they should go tight end anymore. Like they got two. They got Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely.
That's no.
So I say I do agree. Like that wide receiver spot is probably something they need to lock in again until they find something that stick. Do the Detroit route, bro. Like
no, honestly, they had Bateman though. Bateman was
but he got hurt.
Cool last year.
I'm with you.
If you got Bateman, Odell, and you get somebody like Zay Jones, Josh Downs at that 22, just don't touch Jalen Hyatt because he's coming to Dallas, bro. That's it.
Got bad news for you, son. Got bad news for you, player.
I'm cool with anything but a tight end, bro, to be honest. And not anything but a tight end.
Y'all just lost a tight end, bro. What you mean?
Cool,
bro, we lost Dalton. You lost Dalton Schultz, bro. Like Dalton Schultz is cool, but Jake Ferguson is also good too, bro.
But Dalton Schultz also caught a lot of passes for y'all.
He caught a lot of stop routes.
That's not what I said. I said he caught a lot of passes.
Yeah, a lot of stop routes.
Dak looked for him very often.
Yeah, 7 stop. He the closest option.
That shade go crazy, bro.
That pick that almost got picked, it was the Dalton Schultz in the versus San Francisco 49ers.
All right, bro. Called that man Zeke a fullback on the show. Said that man Dalton Schultz only catches stop routes.
I do believe Dalton Schultz is a cool option, but he is replaceable. No, Amari wasn't replaceable.
That's why you should think about. That's why you should be open to tight end in the draft. That's literally why you should be.
Jake Ferguson, bro. He the future.
How many games he played?
He the future. Come on, bro.
How many games?
Turn the tape on, bro.
How many games did he play?
All 17.
He played all of them. He
no. Okay, so how many snaps did he play?
I don't know, Mo.
I'm gonna just do the work for you. Hold on, I'll do the work for you.
He was the backup tight end.
Oh, so what's his name again? I bet
Jake Ferguson.
Look on the third string.
Oh, Jake Ferguson, 19 catches. Okay. Played in 16 games, got 8 starts, 22 targets, 19 catches.
22 targets.
First year.
That
he was a rookie last year, so essentially he's not experienced. So essentially, a 4th round pick is your future. You're willing to move forward in the NFL.
Do you know when we
2023 season?
Do you know when we drafted Dalton Schultz?
Without moving forward, without looking at a tight end in the draft.
Do you know when we drafted?
You saying you hope y'all don't take a tight end because you're cool with Jake Ferguson. That makes a lot of sense to you. Huh?
Look when we drafted Dalton Schultz.
Where y'all drafted him?
No, just look at that.
Where y'all drafted Dalton Schultz mean?
Because you talking about our 4th rounder guy. Look when we drafted Dalton Schultz.
I'm not worried. Look. My point of saying that was not about the literal draft spot that he was in. But if you're talking about one tight end on your roster, for example, let's put it this way. This is really good because Washington has like 5 tight ends on their roster. I don't at this point. I like what's his name, Cole Turner, who's a second-year player, but he hasn't had enough exposure to even say that he's worth like putting forward as the number 1 or number 2 alongside Logan Thomas. Same thing with John Bates, who's been around for 3 years, but he's primarily a blocking specialist. He can run block and pass block, but he's next up in terms of the person with the most experience. That means I need a goddamn tight end, or somebody has to step up to the plate. And with all those bodies, I'm still willing to draft a tight end. I'm not saying first round though, but you need to be thinking about tight end, bro. I think it's a little naive for you to say we got Jake Ferguson. We don't need to be focusing on tight end, bro. Like, that's not even a rational. Like, that's not a rational like analysis at the position, bro. I know y'all need help. Y'all lost.
If we have a young tight end that can be productive, you still think? I mean, we got 2 tight ends. I feel like that can replace Dalton Schultz.
Why are you putting the quotations on Dalton like that?
No, they can replace his production. That 4th round tight end, Dalton Schultz, they can replace his 4th round production.
Crazy. That's crazy. He keeps talking about the round he got drafted.
Because actually, he said a 4th round guy in Jake Ferguson. Why can another 4th round be just as good as Dalton Schultz?
Look, bro.
All I'm saying is I wouldn't take a tight end in the first round.
That boy Dalton has 78 catches, 808 yards, and 8 TDs, bro. 2021.
I didn't discredit nothing from Dalton Schultz. I just said we can replace his production with the 2 guys that we had. That's it. I'm a firm believer in
y'all tight end by committee. That's what you said.
Jake Ferguson did carry low by himself. But if we had to have, we wanted to
carry low.
All right, it's time to go. Bro. That's gonna wrap it. That's gonna wrap it.
My man ball out this shit, bro.
All right, we're gonna hold you to it, buddy. That's gonna wrap it up for this episode of the Chop It Down
be the best
podcast.
tight end on anybody team in this podcast. Guaranteed.
No, you don't want to guarantee that.
Guarantee it.
I can promise you don't want to guarantee that.
Y'all only got a quarterback to throw y'all tight end the ball.
It don't matter, bro.
First
of all, how you figure we have Tannehill on the roster? Tannehill
not no scrub. Bro, you need like him, bro.
Like I said, he not no scrub though.
But you don't want him no more.
I don't have because he making too much money.
Look, hey Nick, we're not gonna let Nick do this, bro. We're not gonna let him bait us into anything, bro. Over Jake Ferguson, bro. Like y'all like to clown me over. I took it. I wanted the record to show. I took it easy on Nick. Now y'all like to carry me for some of the shit that I say. I took it easy on Nick today because that's some wild shit to say off of 1 year.
Bro, all I know is
19 catches.
All I know Jake Ferguson, bro. Watch the tape on him, bro. You a scout? Watch the tape, bro.
Watch. Oh, not that's the words you want to use.
You a scout, bro. Watch the tape of my man.
Watch the tape now, huh?
I'm trying to.
I tell y'all that all the time, and y'all just say, "Man, fuck out of here with that shit, bro." 12 catches, he ain't doing nothing.
Just like you said, Richie James and dog, my man had probably a -3 catches in his career before that, bro. That's my man, bro. Richie James.
He just said some.
Man, Richie James a dog, bro. Watch the tape on him, bro. He the GOAT.
And what happened after I told you about Richie James?
And like I'm telling you about Jake Ferguson, bro. Watch what I tell you about this season coming up.
Well, you told me after the season ended. All right, you know what? I'm done. Cool.
Keep
an eye out on your boy.
I can't believe you, bro.
Jake Trasterson. Okay. All right, that's gonna wrap it up for this episode.
Y'all didn't stop disrespecting my boy.
Hey man, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Rate, review, man. We appreciate it, bro. Stay tapped in, Chop It Down, man. More episodes along the way. The rest of this week, we got some more next week as well. Y'all stay safe. We out of here.
Tap that button.
Enjoy the weekend.